Hello and welcome back. And today I'm going to talk about when things fall apart, even the really small things that fall apart on a daily basis, the things that we're doing in our everyday lives. It might be something at work, something in a creative project, or something in a relationship, or a conversation, or it could be the really big things that fall apart, like the end of a long relationship, or the loss of a house sale, or the loss of a job, or the not getting the job that you really wanted, or the creative project not getting the funding it needed, or whatever it might be for you, whether it's a tiny thing or it's a really big thing. I just want to talk about things falling apart in general and give some advice and guidance around it. So we've all had those moments where things just don't go to plan, and we can feel like we're falling apart when that happens, or we're not working effectively, efficiently, properly, or we feel it's unfair, and we just don't understand why it's happened. The brain, the mind is trying to understand why it happened, but it's just not unfolding in the way that we thought it would. So the mind, as we know, goes into all of those questions. Why is it happening? You always do this. What am I doing wrong? Why does nothing seem to work for me? And all of the rest of those that go with that, whatever it is. And it just pulls back and focuses on all the times that things have not actually gone the way that we planned them to. I spoke in my last video about core wounds rising up at the moment and how that relates to current planetary alignments. I think even though I'm not somebody who knows much about astrology, I think there is a conjunction this week that is not been seen for a really long time, so it's something quite unique. And one of those things is new moon in Aries conjunct Chiron, and that is something that can bring up old, very old, deep core wounds within us. And when that happens and it sideswipes us, we can feel like we're going backwards, not making progress, and we can spiral into those negative thought loops that I've just talked about. And I'm not just seeing this in myself. I had this happen to me yesterday, but then since then I've seen a couple of clients and I've met a couple of friends and I've spoken to people, and it just seems to be a theme. So I thought I'd just do this video to kind of assist with it. So with this wounding that's coming up, it's not just old wounds coming up. It is asking us to let go of more, to become more of who we are, so that we can completely restructure our frequency so that we attract into our reality what is most aligned for our soul's path. And this was the deeper kind of level of it, having processed it through from yesterday. And as we know, it's very common that things don't go to plan, the small things and the big things, and it's because they're not meant to stay as they were. We are always growing, evolving, expanding, and sometimes things have to fall apart so that they can come back together in a completely different way, so that we are more aligned, more truthful and honest with who we are, more authentic. So the mind then, with that, it really doesn't like this. It then kicks in with all of the fear-based things around needing certainty, needing control, needing things to look like they're working, to feel like a success or whatever it is. But it all comes from this energy of fear, saying, this is going wrong again, this isn't working, you've messed something up, you always mess something up, why is it happening, it's not fair, am I being punished, and blah, blah, blah. But I've really meditated on this, and there is another much deeper intelligence available to you if this has happened to you right now, or you're about to have it happen to you in the next few days. Just maybe come back to this video. But that deeper intelligence definitely doesn't come from the mind. And again, it comes from the heart. And we've talked about the heart and mind before, and the heart doesn't operate from fear. It doesn't operate from any of our past conditioning, unlike the mind. and it doesn't operate from any type of limitation. The heart sees all, it sees the bigger picture. It holds a wisdom that can move you through things that the logical mind cannot understand. And so when things feel like they're really not working, and it's knocked you for six maybe, and it feels like things are falling apart and the old emotions are coming up and the old core wound has been triggered again, instead of going into all of the little rabbit holes that I did yesterday, I want you to just try this. So an invitation to just try to not force, not control, and not panic, but just take a breath and drop into the heart space. After you've kind of got over the initial shock of it, just drop into the heart space, release all force, control, and panic, and drop into this space where this genuine, real love that is not soft or passive, but is powerful, intelligent, and transformative, exists. And this energy from the heart space is what reorganizes your life in ways that you couldn't possibly have planned for with the mind. We can't possibly conceive of things that we have not experienced or seen evidence of from the mind. But the heart is all-knowing. So it is a much better space to hand over our trust and surrender to. And it also has a kind of invisible grace. And this invisible grace, when we drop into that and we really, truly, fully surrender and trust into it, just really guides us and protects us. And even when you feel like you're getting it wrong, and even when you feel like things don't make sense, and you feel like you might just be bumbling along and you don't really know what you're doing, I just want you to know that you are not off your path. You're not missing something, but there is something within you, within your heart, that is guiding the process. And the more we let go and trust that, the easier that transition is. So what you truly desire in your life, what is genuinely aligned for you, is never being taken away from you. And that's why you're being reorientated and dropped into these spaces where we have to go deeper so that we can be refined and reorganized. And those things then that we want, so maybe let's just use the example of a house sale falling through. We could be really invested in that. We can be thinking, right, okay, that I'm selling that house and I've got this new house ready for me to move into. It's all going ahead on whatever day, and then it just suddenly falls through at the last minute. But what if there is a better place or a nicer house or a different location that is more aligned for you and your frequency and your soul, and actually that this is the reshaping process and the reorganization process. So if you're in a moment right now where the things in your life feel uncertain, the small things or the big things, or disappointing, or they're not happening in the way that you'd hope they would, just be really mindful of this. And that is to not trust the fear when it arises. It's really important to feel through the emotions that arise, if it's, sadness, grief, hurt, and to acknowledge those, but it is important to totally not trust the fear of the unknown. But we drop into the heart space, and then from that space, we will be guided for the next right step, following our highest joy and excitement. And we can then trust the movement and where it takes us, trust the process, trust the intelligence of your own heart. It is incredibly powerful. And we're more and more being guided to live from the space of the heart after, I don't know, however many thousands of years of operating from the space of the mind, because this is how we're now going to be functioning as a species. And we're just starting this process. And when we start to live from this place more and more, and we start to create from this space, and we start to trust that frequency and know that we are always held, know that we are always safe, you don't just change your own life, you affect all of the people around you, and you open up your soul's pathways that didn't even seem visible before, didn't exist before. You might not have known what that might be. So if you are feeling like things are falling apart for you right now, maybe they're not. Maybe they're actually coming together. And maybe it's just that you can't quite see it yet. And my guidance for you today would be to really trust and stay with the heart, because the heart knows the way. So I hope that really helps someone today, and I'd love to hear your comments, and I'd love to know where you are from, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for listening.